But you'd be surprised how many people have extensive live performing experience and still don't know how to properly play into a microphone. The common reasons I hear are along the lines of, I just play the instrument, the sound guy needs to take care of the sound, or I don't think it was that important. What musicians should realize is that at the end of the day, their sound, their musical identity is going on the record, and they have to take as much responsibility as possible for what comes out of the studio. It's my hope that this tutorial can help players claim that responsibility. By far, the most common mistake I see musicians making is that they're not pointing at the microphone. Most often, it happens when we're recording live performances, but even in sessions with no audience, the players sometimes play as though they just need to be somewhere near the mic for it to get good sound. Simply put, if you're not pointing at the mic, you won't get a good sound. This footage is from a performance of the Javier Nero Big Band. Neil and Dan are going to trade solos here after Javier is done. Notice how Dan takes the time beforehand to put his microphone up. He doesn't spend a lot of time perfectly positioning it, as would be ideal, but he moves it so that when he stands to play, he'll be in close to the same position as when he's sitting. Neil, on the other hand, doesn't move his microphone to the right place. Though their saxophonists of similar tone and fullness of sound, the difference between them in the recording couldn't be more dramatic. Let's listen. Though you can't see his exact placement in this shot, if the microphone had been placed correctly, you'd see it around here, above and in front of his belly. You would think it goes without saying, but the video we just saw illustrates rule number 1 of using a microphone. You have to point your instrument at the microphone. With some mics, especially ribbon mics, you shouldn't point directly at it, but just slightly off to the side, like there was another microphone directly next to it. But generally, you should be pointing directly at the microphone. Yes, directly at it. Yes, all the time. Each microphone has what's called a pickup pattern. The best way to describe it is that it's a shape that indicates where the microphone will accept sound from. Knowing the pickup pattern of the microphone you're playing into helps in determining your positioning. The common shapes are omnidirectional, figure 8, subcardioid, cardioid, supracardioid, hypercardioid, and shotgun. The engineer will pick the microphone pickup pattern based on the needs of the project, but most often, especially for wind instruments, it'll be one of the cardioid patterns, so we'll look at the basic cardioid. Microphones with this pickup pattern get the most sound from directly in front of them, hence rule number 1. But they also get sound from other directions too, essentially everywhere except straight from the back. This helps to isolate whatever instrument is being recorded and reject the sound coming from other instruments. Listen here to the University of Miami Concert Jazz Band. Notice when Chris takes a solo, even though Ryan is right next to him and their microphones are quite close to each other, Chris's sound is present in the mic and Ryan's is not. In situations where you're recording many instruments in the same room, this isolation is key to capturing a good sound. By comparison, listen to this small group playing together. Mark's microphone is too far away, so the sound in his channel is as much Dan as it is him. Even if you turn Mark up to get enough of his sound, Dan comes up with it. These examples bring us to rule number 2 of using a microphone. You have to be the right distance away from the microphone. If you're too far away, you won't have a present sound. Also, the microphone may pick up other instruments. If you're too close, your sound will get distorted. A good place to start is between 4 and 8 inches away. The best spot is, of course, the place where it sounds the best, but using the 4 to 8 rule will give you a good reference point.
Yeah, there's just this, it sounds like a very direct bell.
Like, oh, okay, so you want maybe higher, closer to the keys?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other advantage of playing the correct distance from the microphone has to do with section sound. If everyone has the same presence on the microphone as the other members of their section, then any mixing done to the sound will sound natural. Here, the CJB saxophone section is working on a soli passage. Let's listen to that again, and take off the compression and equalize their levels. When the players are soloed in different combinations, you hear that they don't suddenly sound like they're sitting at different distances from their microphones. Their recorded sound has the same balance and blend as their live sound. If you play a stationary instrument like the drums, the piano, the guitar, or to a lesser extent the upright bass, then you only have to be concerned with the initial placement of the microphone. Your amp isn't going anywhere, and you're not going to pick up the snare and move it across the room at measure 94, so you don't have to worry about the microphone after it's been placed. In these cases, you just need some idea of where your microphones should go. Look to see where they are placed before the session starts, and keep an eye out in case one starts moving, like if a mic stand wasn't tightened enough. For everyone else who has a portable instrument, saxophones, trumpets, trombones, etc., once the microphone has been placed, you have to make sure that you stay in the sweet spot. Musicians get excited when they're playing, and we have a tendency to move. That's okay. I'm not saying you have to be a statue, but unless you have a clip-on mic, you have to stay in a certain area, because even a little deviation can have a drastic impact. So there you have it. I hope this short video can help lead you to better recording sessions. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask your session engineer. And remember, it's your sound, so make sure you sound good. Thanks for watching.